I'm going to have the issue with glasses. I'd like to start off with a what if. What if every school or educational centre embodied the 4 Rs of rethink, reduce, reuse and recycle and sustainability practices in their everyday operations? This has been something that I've spent some time thinking about and been the focus of my work over the last 2 decades with a background in teaching, and has been formed a lot of the work that I've done at Kimbriki Environmental Enterprises on Sydney's northern beaches. Thank you for the opportunity to share our story of the journey so far here at the Waste Conference. Oh, I've got to get good with this. Okay, here we go. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the land on which Kimbriki sits and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging for their continued connection to lands, waters and communities. And my hope is for that continued connection to culture and country. I first came to Kimbriki 15 years ago and met the amazing ecologist Peter Rutherford and realised that I'd found my spot. As a mother and an educator teacher, I realised this is where I should be at this time, and I've been there in some capacity ever since. Kimbriki has been operating for the last 50 years and originally a landfill, and it's a site of continuous change and has changed dramatically over time, beginning with the recycling of vegetation and metal, and that has shaped the future that Kimbriki is moving towards, where there is lots of aggregation of materials on site, and leading the future there for us to try and reduce the amount of landfill that is being filled up quickly by trying to recover as much as we can. So there are about 1,000 to 1,400 vehicles on site every day. It's a very busy site, and about 80% of what comes in will get reused and recycled in some form. If you'd like to find out more about Kimbriki, we've got a great website and there's a virtual site tour, or you're always very welcome to come and have a visit with us. Set within the Kimbriki site is the Eco House and Garden, originally a demonstration garden created in 1999 with the North Sydney Waste Board and the EPA. It's then morphed with the building of the Eco House, which is our education centre, that is built of about 85% reused materials that were destined for landfill at Kimbriki. And it's there that it really felt like this really complements the site facilities with a unique educational experience to look at from a community perspective of what we're doing, and then come into the Eco House and Garden and think about what can we each individually do on our journey towards sustainability. And I'm likely to get off track, so I am going to look at my notes to make sure I stay on track. We have about 4,000 visitors a year in various capacities, whether they've come on a group or a school excursion, whether it's through an outreach visit, whether it's just an independent visit where they've come and they have taken the opportunity to use our interactive discovery trail and explore the garden and the Eco House through that. So there's a lot happening there, and it's where we teach about ecology, the 4 Rs, how to reduce the organic fraction going to landfill, and sustainable living practices. Over the past 10 years, the educational component of the Resource Recovery Centre has really expanded, with specific attention being paid to integrating waste and sustainability into the New South Wales curriculum and supporting educators to develop confidence in this space. And I think that's my fault. and I feel very fortunate to have been encouraged and supported to explore this. I really felt that there was a gap. We had developed as a team over the past 2 decades a lot of resources and done a lot of the searching, I guess, and rifling through information. And I really felt that it was a bit silly that all this stuff was, I'm a paper person, in folders in my storeroom, in my office at home, and that we weren't sharing those resources and helping support and guide educators. So that's what this platform is. It's morphed from different things, and it's now the Resource Hive. Here, it's a platform for us to share our knowledge and our expertise and some tried and tested methods of curriculum integrated materials in a place where, you know, we can deliver messages from the waste industry to our young people and our educators through attainable and meaningful activities that they can engage with. So we're going to drill down a little bit into one of our most popular components on the Resource Hive, which is about how to set up and effectively manage composting systems. So there's a whole suite of resources here, and it's about taking the pain out of the process. There's a lot of information out there about how to run a compost. There's a lot of do's, there's a lot of don'ts. We've tried to simplify it, and we're basing this on our 20 years of knowledge and expertise and doing, and we're trying to make it simple and straightforward for people to follow. So here, as you can see, we've got, there's photos of composting systems. There's a 10-step composting procedure. There's signage that we feel is really useful when running systems with more than one person running a system. Have some good signage there. Our ADAM principles, key part of our signage, because if you've got a problem with a compost bin or a worm farm, that's what you go to first. Look at your aliveness, look at your diversity, look at your aeration, look at your moisture. If you look at all 4 of those, you'll probably answer the question to your problem. There's a key tip there for you. And then it's sort of expanded. You know, we realised that schools were closing after 6 weeks, for 6 weeks of the school holidays, so we created a process for how to sort of shut down a compost system, how to do the same with a worm farm, so that when you come back, you've got a bin of beautiful compost to use in your school garden and you're ready to go again. Not that you've got to start the whole thing up again because it's all died and all of that. Okay. So drilling down again, so we're really aware, being a lot of us are teachers, of how content heavy the curriculum is, and I guess this was a gap that we were really keen to try and fill and to support teachers to have some curriculum integrated resources that were tried and tested that they can pick up and go with. So not only have you got the wherewithal there to set up systems at your school, you've got some curriculum linked lessons to run with your students that are using those systems. So here we've got the example of the Compost Sum suite of resources. You've got teacher instructions there. What do you need? What are you doing? Step by step. You've got an activity sheet there for K-2 pitch students, and then some resources to support that activity, and there's even at the bottom some cheat sheet notes for upskilling yourself on composting and worm farms the night before the lesson. So you're all set. So if you want to see any of these have been linked all at the bottom of the pages. Okay, here I wanted to show you this little collage of activities that have happened as a result of the resources that are available on our Resource Hive. Now, a lot of those are linked to science and humanities, but as you can see here, what a breadth of learning is happening. So you've got literacy, you've got procedures being written, creative writing, persuasive text, you've got numeracy. You've got probability, estimation, measuring, all going on there. Experimentation, problem solving, bit of critical thinking, some reuse, some manipulation of materials, looking at what things are made of, what could they be used for again. Citizen science, advocacy, it's wide and varied. It's a great place to learn outside, and so we're trying to support and provide confidence to educators to do that. Okay, so this one was another important one. I had an interesting conversation with Kate McQuillan last night about data. Data and stories and trying to get the right mix, but you can't monitor what you can't measure. So we feel it's really important for a school or a centre that wants to undertake change. Where are you at right now? So the thought of doing a waste audit with students can be quite overwhelming. So again, we want to take the pain out of the process, and here we have a suite of resources, including the second little point there, the presentation. That includes some opportunities for some real thinking. What is waste? Who's decided it's waste? Why is it waste? What's that made of? Can't that be used for something else? Where is away? Is there an away? Where's it going to go? And so there's opportunities there for the teachers to step the students through with the timetable and the teacher instructions. It incorporates the presentation, slide 2, do next, that kind of thing. You've got an equipment list there so you can collect everything you need, weighing sheet, a data collection sheet, and even some rationale there for change, advocating for change in your school. So if you'd like to look at any of those, and this really embodies our philosophy of eco-logos. I take care of everywhere I go. So it's all of us taking responsibility for what we've decided waste is and getting some really deep thinking happening in our schools and centres about that. And, the curriculum outcomes that you can tick off for that are endless. Okay. These resources are supported and support and complement our school and centre outreach program. The waste reduction support program that we've been operating since 2019. In a handful of schools each year, we try and support them in looking at their waste more sustainably and trying to make some reductions. That might be the integration of a composting system into their school, waste audits, looking at where they can more sustainably manage their waste. A few years ago, we launched the Eco Stewardship Award, which is a perpetual trophy up there on the left, provided to schools to award to a student who has shown some initiative towards waste and sustainability, or a group of students, or maybe they've instigated some project or action that they've led the school through. And this can be used at the end of year awards as a different award to a music award or a sports award. We thought it was important to acknowledge those students who've really been engaged with being stewards. I'd like to share with this slide a lovely social enterprise story with One Meal Northern Beaches. So probably about 3 years ago, I got a call from the Bunnings activities officer who's near to us, who I knew through my kids' primary school, and she said, I've had this guy on the phone, he wants 20 compost bins, I think you need to speak to him. And I said, oh, okay, all right. So I got this guy's number, Kim Williams, the founder of One Meal Northern Beaches. And we had a lovely conversation. So Kim founded One Meal Northern Beaches, and they provide 19,000 meals a week to people in need. And of course, they're using a lot of food that is being donated, but they're also generating some scraps, about 75 to 90 kilos a day of scraps. So I managed to talk him down to 6 bins. I said, let's start small, make sure we get it right, then we can expand. We're now up to 40, with 3 big worm farms and chickens at Fisher Road School for Special Purposes. It's become a real community initiative because what we've also got, we've not only got the students at the school, there's a youth disability service that come once a week to help maintain the compost bins. Some of them used to go to the School for Special Purposes. We've got compost volunteers from One Mill who come and drop the food scraps off and help with the maintenance of it. We've got the local private high school comes with 25 kids every Monday to help manage it. And now it's expanded to another school. So we've now got 12 bins at another high school, public high school, that the Integrated Studies Unit students are running. And the principal, last week I was up there, the principal was so stoked with it, he wants to increase it to 20 bins. So it's a wonderful opportunity. The students are using the soil in the school gardens. The soil's also we're linked in with the Royal Botanic Gardens and their work with Housing Commission and development of edible gardens in Housing Commission. So the soil's going to there. And then the kids are also selling, and the youth are selling the bags of soil back to the community to raise funds to help support the program. It's lovely. It's a great thing to be involved in, and we'd love to see more of that happening. Okay, I need to speed up. I've gone the wrong way. Okay, so the culmination of all of this was really our Teacher Professional Development Days, which started in 2023. We got them recognised by NESA as being an important use of teacher hours about teaching and supporting educators with waste and sustainability in the curriculum. We include case studies from a variety of different school settings. We have guest speakers. We do lots of hands-on practical stuff. It expanded because we got reached out to by early childhood educators who were like, we need this. Because in their early years framework, there was a new lens of sustainability. And a lot of them were reaching out to us saying, look, we don't know how do we do this? So I'd luckily done a few little programs that I'd developed in early childhood settings, and we expanded that offering, and they're now all available on the Resource Hive too. And so we've done 7 of these. The next one's coming up in 2 weeks' time. There are some spots left, limited. So, yeah. What really did cement it for us was the document that came out in November 2022 from the Department of Education, this commitment to sustainability. We had no idea. We were planning the professional development stuff and really wanting to roll them out, and then this came out and it really cemented it for us. So what we do in our professional development days is we unpack this a bit, but what it's doing is, this is an organisation with a big reach, and what it does is it supports those educators who are a bit cray-cray like me, who want to incorporate waste and sustainability into their everyday, and it says to them, this is where the department's going. And it was great. It was just what we needed. It was what those people needed as well to keep them going, because they felt like they were the only person in the school who cared about the fact that they only had a landfill bin and a paper bin. So we've got a little bit of success here, noted by the Department of Education. One of the school infrastructure team came to one of those first PD days. She really liked what she saw. She really loved all of our resources. And so we have some of our resources linked in to the Department of Education's school infrastructure page in their Solving Organic Waste area. They've done a number of trials. They're basically trying to get a whole of state sustainability engagement program happening. Whole of state. Tricky, lots of different schools, lots of different sizes, regional, urban, all of that. But we feel really quite acknowledged that they've realised that some of our resources are really useful to be sharing. We're getting a wider reach there from our little centre in the northern beaches of Sydney. And, it's food waste education that's mapped to the curriculum across all subjects and stages. It's a joint initiative with the EPA and the New South Wales government. So we feel really proud to be involved in that. Okay, I'm going to finish up with this last one. I'm going to thank Brenna Quinlan for the opportunity to share this with you. If you've not seen Brenna's work, it's really quite amazing and really quite provoking, some of her imagery. I'm a big believer in where you put your energy grows. This is where I'm putting my heart and my passion and my energy. Sustainable schools, and I look forward to engaging with some of you guys on that journey. It's great to make connections. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Australian Native Landscapes, Tumbleweed and Water Ups. These connections to industry help make our programs happen. And I'd also like to say a big thanks to my CEO and directors for encouragement and support to keep these kind of programs going in our facility. Thank you.
Awesome.